Good gracious. What's going on? Let me try to just what's my lights now? Oh, I hate this camera, y'all. What's going on? Naomi, Mauro. Yeah, I didn't realize I was going live. Otherwise, I would have used a better camera. Golly, it's like low definition camera. Uh, hmm. I left my camera lens in the other room. I really could have just plugged it up and used that one. All right, well, we're gonna be in we're gonna be in low definition tonight, but we're gonna be here. What's going on? What's going on? Man, I wish I should have plugged in my high def camera. I didn't realize it was gonna be that shitty. Let me see. Ugh, maybe. Mm. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? All right, we in low definition, but we here. I just come on to answer any questions anybody people any. I just come on to answer any questions anybody has. Just touch the people, say what's up to everybody. I haven't been able to upload very much this week because I've been very, very busy. And so I'm just trying to touch people since I haven't had the opportunity to feed everybody in the way I normally do. So, what's going on? My God, that is really going to piss me off and irritate me. Like, I can't see a hair follicle or anything. Um, we're going to get into it. Uh, I was just in Arkansas. Chrissy said, "Hey, from Arkansas." I was actually just in Arkansas. Oh, oh, this is disgusting. Mm-mm. That's terrible too. I'm figuring this lighting thing out. But I was just in Arkansas actually. I had to take a road trip, and I actually had to drive through Arkansas, and I stopped at a hotel in Arkansas. So shout out to Arkansas. It was actually a very peaceful drive. It was my favorite portion of the road trip. I recently took a 22-hour road trip. Um, anyway, we're gonna jump into these questions because I'm taking too long. It's 2 minutes in. Okay, we just rolling with the punches. Joanna Gonzalez says, "What's up, Kev?" Well, Courtney Phillips says, "What's up, Kev? And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us." And Ashley, thank you as well for lending him to us as usual. Ashley says, "You're welcome. I'm sure." Oh, I don't have a moderator right now. Ashley's doing a arts and crafts project. She's creative like that, so she's kind of doing her own thing. And I didn't have a whole lot going on. My kids are still up and very lit at the moment, so I just kind of snuck away. Let me see. Hey, Kev, what's going on? As long as we can hear you, it shouldn't matter. Can you hear me? I think you can hear me. I haven't gotten any complaints so far that I can see. Good evening. I'm a big fan of your work. Thank you so much, Claire Cortez. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate every view, every minute people give me of their own time. I appreciate it. BC got right into it. Thank you. She said, "Is it a red flag when he starts being too flirtatious and talks about sex on the first day we're talking?" Yes. If a guy's too overconfident, especially as it pertains to, I'm still getting this together. If a guy's overconfident, that's gross. Okay. If a guy's too overconfident as it pertains to his presentation of sexuality or, um, hell, forgive me, his presentation of sexuality or attraction, then it's always a red flag because most of the time when people care about the result of something, they have a very healthy fear of it either not going well or an impression being mismanaged. And when a guy doesn't care and he starts being too flirtatious and he talks about sex on the first day, that's coming from him really not valuing the opportunity and not valuing the situation and not really caring about what you think one way or another, which is great. I know women like that. It feels confident. It feels like a man's not putting you on a pedestal, but you need the pedestal. If you want to be treated differently than every other whore he screws, then you need to be put on a pedestal. So many women are avoiding the pedestal, and the pedestal is your friend. If a guy doesn't put you on a pedestal in comparison to the other women he's dealing with, then you're likely going to be treated like every other woman he deals with. And so I think it's backwards logic. It's twisted thinking to hope that a man doesn't put you on a pedestal. You want to be placed on a separate plane than the other women around you. That's the only way you get treated any differently than the other women around you. So if a guy doesn't see enough value in you to separate you from his other flirtatious or sexual experiences, then you have a problem, and it is a giant red flag. I'm gonna have to text my wife and actually give me some water. Um, so yeah, that's definitely a red flag. Water. We're gonna deal with it. Somebody said, "Hey Kev, hey Victoria Johnson, what's going on?" Yes, someone asked some good stuff. I know y'all didn't know I was coming on here, so I'm almost positive uh, we we won't be inundated with as many deep questions tonight because people just don't know I'm here. Somebody said, "How do you think high school relationships could last until old?" I'm imagining you're in high school, Shania Barker. How do I think high school relationships can last until you're old? Well, I guess it depends very much on the people, the maturity level, and the direction, and the like the steadfastness of the two people. Like there are two young people who there could be two young people at 16, 17, 18 years old, know exactly what they want from life, aren't looking for excitement, won't feel any resentment toward missed opportunities or missed experiences if they spend their whole lives together. I've known people like that. My best friend and his wife were high school sweethearts. They never cared to experience what was out there, as we always hear people say, where they have to find themselves or find out what they like or go explore and things of that nature. My best friend and his wife didn't have to do that. They didn't have a craving to do that. They knew they wanted to settle down and create a family very early, and they knew they had found the person they were looking for spiritually and physically and otherwise. So if both people have that mindset, then that's awesome. But a lot of times that's not the case. Very rarely do you find two young people with the spiritual awareness to recognize the value in each other to such a degree that they make that decision and can stick to it and dedicate to that decision very early. Most of the time, you have two people who would hope to stay together, but are open to the idea of exploring other relationships because they don't expect it to last. And once you decide that a thing isn't real, it can't last, you take on the properties of the behavior that would obviously see that into fruition, and almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't believe something can be, then it won't be. There's this quote that I always use. I say, the man who believes, and it's not my quote, it's somebody smarter than me, but there's this quote that says, the man who believes he can and the man who believes he can't are both right. And to that same degree, the couple who believe they can and the couple who believe they can't are both right. If you believe that you can stay together and you don't have delusions of grandeur and these thoughts of missed opportunity and all of these different things, if you're not looking to experience the world and everything it has to offer, thank you, pretty girl, then maybe through your experiences, through the life you create for yourself, through your profession, through your passions realized, you can get that excitement and you don't need to operate from a place of needing that excitement in a sexual place and from a sexual place. So that could be one of those things where if you are two people like that, where you plan to give yourself excitement through the life you provide yourself and not through the sexual experiences or the sexual partners, then it's absolutely possible. But again, that depends very much on the maturity level of the two people involved and how sure they are about what they want in life, and if those are the same thing. I hope that helps. VC, love and respect. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Wow, man, I got dark. Um, the lighting. Somebody said, also, because I don't have a moderator right now, if somebody drops like a $2 super chat or something that YouTube doesn't see fit to show me, I might miss it. So I don't want to apologize if I do. Your insights have helped me deeply. God bless you and your ministry. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat and the compliment. Yeah, YouTube doesn't show you super chats. I think like under $3 or $4 or something like that. They're important to me, but YouTube seems to think they're I don't know, minuscule or something. And so I'll try to catch everybody's super chats, whether you send me 99 cents or $99, but it doesn't show up on my screen. And so I want to make sure that I let you know that before you send, just in case I miss it. But I do have the chat log saved. I set it in my YouTube settings to save the chat log, so I can go find the super chats later and answer those questions in a later video, like I have been doing. If you guys noticed, or you ladies, predominantly ladies, if you ladies notice, from time to time now, I do videos for the Miss Super Chat questions or the Miss Common questions. Usually the Miss Common questions, Super Chats get answered. But the Miss Common questions that I might not have had time to get to, I now do videos for when I believe they are going to help more than one person. So I'll do that. I'll do that same thing for this video. Clay Days. Hey, Kev, is it a red flag? First of all, thank you for your super chat. She said, hey, Kev, is it a red flag for a guy you just met online to have diarrhea of the mouth, if that makes sense? I guess it depends on your morals, your values, your standards, and your language, affinities. I think some people don't care about using profanity or even obscene language. It's not offensive to them. It's just par for the course. It's how they communicate, and they grow up in areas and environments and cultures where those words, those strong words, are used to describe almost everything. And so, if you've come from another place, if you don't agree with that type of language, if you don't relate to it, or if for whatever reason those messages are missed on you because you can't relate to the language or the intensity there, and then that could be a red flag for you. But it's not a red flag necessarily of culture or character. I think that we've been told that a potty mouth, it ultimately, leads us to believe that a person might have a potty character or a potty intellect, and that's just not the case. I think we've simplified people down to our preferences, and so to say someone is less intelligent because they use profanity is not necessarily true at all. It's just something that people who don't use profanity tell themselves to create superiority, or whether that's spiritual or intellectual. It was a time where I used a great deal of profanity, especially as a child, and a few people would say that I'm inarticulate. Not that I'm the most articulate or the greatest speaker, but it's clear that I have a vocabulary. I can communicate my thoughts clearly. But at one time, I was a potty mouth. I wouldn't have done it on the date, though. I had the wherewithal to behave myself. And so I guess if a guy's not behaving himself on the date, that is a red flag. But for reasons more related to what type of relationship and conversational energy you want in a relationship, not because he's cussing, but because maybe cussing isn't the way you receive or like to exchange energy conversationally. So I hope that helps. But no, I've known great people who have very potty mouths, and that doesn't mean anything. Perversion and obscenity, those are different. If a person's obscene, if they're perverse, that's a red flag. But just having a potty mouth, saying cuss words, that's not a red flag. I will cuss more, but YouTube would demonetize my videos. I don't know, I'm supposed to be mature and not admit that, but I do. I would cuss more, but YouTube would demonetize my videos, and then it wouldn't help my family. And so uh, I control myself for that reason. Brenda M, thank you so much for the $15 super chat. She said, Kev and Pretty Girl, love and respect. How do you deal with being ghosted by someone you have deep feelings for and find out that he was legitimately deployed for 7 months? I still went through hell I didn't know. Um, that's a tough one. I speak to a lot of women who are either in the military or dating men in the military, and it can be a very hard life. Um, Unfortunately enough, sometimes the military personnel don't get the biggest warning that they're being deployed. My brother, for instance, he's a veteran, an Iraqi and Afghani war veteran. He didn't get told that he was shoving off to his last deployment um, up in I think for like a couple of days before he left. And when you are in the military, you are property of the military. And so it's quite possible that he wouldn't have ghosted you if it was up to him, or maybe he had more time to prepare himself. There's a lot of things that go on when a person's deployed, and they have a lot of issues to deal with that aren't in relation at all to their social lives. Outside of I hope I see these people again. I hope I live. I hope I make it. these people are being deployed to war zones. They're being deployed to hot areas. A lot of times, I don't know where he got deployed to, and I would imagine that matters. That absolutely matters. But my brother, he went to Kuwait, he went to Afghanistan. I think he went to Iraq. He had living on his mind, trying to figure out how to get himself in a place where he was mentally strong enough to handle what was in front of him, and also make it back home to the people who loved him, whether regardless, of whether or not they got the proper warning he was leaving or not. Um, my best friend Deshar, one of my three best friends, the one I do the Fatherhood Village podcast with, and a shout out, shameless plug, Fatherhood Village podcast is a podcast where we talk about being better men, being better fathers, being better husbands, being better family members, and just handling our responsibilities as the leaders of our communities and our families. So if you're interested in what I say about men and what I say to men and how I relate to men as it pertains to improving themselves, go to the Fatherhood Village podcast. And we're starting a YouTube channel here in the next couple of weeks where we'll be dropping a lot of episodes at once. So anyway, back to your question, Brenda. Sorry. People deal with a lot in being deployed, and I would have to know where they were being deployed, if it was one of those hot areas, a war zone, a life-threatening area, a dangerous area, a danger zone. But at some point, you're going to have to forgive him if what he's saying is, maybe confirm that he didn't want to leave or didn't want to go. I don't think that you can hold that against a person, because I know for a fact that, again, when you're in the service, you are a property of the military. You're a property of the United States, and they sometimes treat you like property and don't give you fair warning before you have to shove out. You just know you're on the list and you might get picked, and that's about it. And so maybe that was one of those things. But if he knew beforehand, if he had 2 months warning, if he had even 2 weeks notice, it would seem to me that he should have told you that he was being deployed. But again, they got a lot to worry about. They got to live. They got to come back. They got to make it home, and sometimes that trumps any pressure you might have to explain what's happening to somebody you might like. Especially when you see your brothers and sisters in uniform die, and now you're on your way to potentially die. It's different. So I would say at least hear the brother out, but make sure that his actions from this point on match and confirm his words before you believe any of it. I hope that helps. Somebody said, "Hey Kev, what does it mean when a man is hot and cold with you?" And by the way, hey Kev, what does it mean when a man is hot and cold with you? It means he either doesn't know what he wants, or he's playing games to get you to want him. He wants you to chase him. He's looking for attention, and that happens. Women do the same thing. Men have just learned how to do it and do it as well as women, and so now it's a thing with them. But I can tell you that if a man is hot and cold with you and he's not consistent, that's always a red flag. It's a red flag because you want to be able to get the same version of a person every time you meet them, right? Um, uh, outside of special circumstances, or situations where there's irritation or there's disagreements, where there's anger involved or frustration, outside of challenging situations that arise with any random two people that might try to come together and figure each other out. You need to be able to expect the same person when you encounter someone, the same energy, the same intention with every interaction. And if you can't expect the same intention and the same energy, whatever that might be, then it's a red flag, because you don't never know who you're going to get, and you don't never know who you're dealing with at any given point and what they might become later. I know women love spontaneity, but you do not want spontaneous attitude changes. You do not want spontaneous personality changes. You do not want spontaneous energetic and vibrational changes, right? Spontaneous tone changes. You don't want those. And as much as it might, keep you on your feet and keep you guessing and excite you, that type of spontaneity is always a red flag for a tumultuous relationship, or some kind of toxic programming that really takes advantage of the ancient attachment styles and things of that nature. So you don't want to get into a place where you expect the unexpected, because it tells me that a man is either obviously double-minded, or if he knows what he's doing, he's just manipulating you by keeping you off balance with his change ups. And I think it's a red flag. I don't like when people do that, women or men. I think it's a piss poor showing And for me, a man of respect, a person who respects myself and sees great value in myself, I want to deal with someone who consistently seems to see the values in me that I do. And the problem is a lot of people don't see those values in themselves. So they determine if they're worthy based on what they get from a person. And that can be very, very dangerous. And so I don't know if that's your thing, but I can tell you hot and cold, especially if there's a pattern of it being hot and cold, that's very much a red flag. And you need to get with a guy who's more consistent in what he presents you if you want a safe, healthy relationship or just a healthy, talking to. Sometimes people don't get to a relationship, but they still engage in unhealthy journeys with people, whether they be short term or long term. Um, hey, Sheila from Philadelphia, what's going on? Um, Somebody said I had a question about a man I met online on a dating app. Answer the question. Ask the question. I'll probably get to it. How to stay vulnerable and open for love, but also protect myself. I've done a few videos on those on that particular subject. Oh, that's a loaded question and a long answer. You would probably need a consultation to get more specific about the ways you're not being vulnerable and the ways you haven't protected yourself for me to answer that without it taking 30 minutes and probably still missing the mark that belongs to you specifically. Can a man be in love with two women? Yes, that anybody can be in love with two people. That's where we get confusion, we get love triangles, we get serial cheating, we get affairs. You can absolutely love two people. The human capacity to love doesn't limit itself to our understanding of monogamy. We just That's just how it is. People can love two people, whether you love them equally, the same. That's debatable. The type of love you have for them might be different, but you can absolutely be in love with two people at one time. That's why a lot of people are engaging in plural relationships, and some of them, every once in a while, some of them find success. um, I love the Bay Area. Okay, shout out. Hello from California. What's going on, Christine? Hello. Um, Somebody said, Tanya Grant said, hey, Kev Hick, just started watching you 2 weeks ago from NYC. Wow, I definitely love your talks. Very informative. Keep doing an amazing job. Blessings be to you and your family. I appreciate that. Let me see. When should you block a man? Top three reasons. When you should block him. When you get a dick pic you didn't ask for and you barely know him. When he refuses to call you under any circumstances and he only texts you, but he wants to spend time around you. And when he puts pressure on you to have sex with him, when he hasn't apparently been on the receiving end of any pressure at all to just be consistent or to say what he means or to be genuine or vulnerable in any way at all, or he hasn't even attempted to try to get close to you or get to know you in any emotional way. He just text messaged you, took you out for a drink, sent you some dick pics and tried to smash. So I think I just gave you three reasons. Is it a red flag that they have no friends outside of gym friends? No, if they love what they do, if they love working out, and that's where they meet everybody at, that's their social circle. No, it's not a red flag. Some women only make friends at the salon. Some women only make friends that go shopping with them. You generally find people of like minds to spend a time around, to love, to enjoy things with. And so, if he likes working out, and he's passionate about that, then it would make sense that the camaraderie that happens at the gym, especially if he goes to like an LA Fitness where people play basketball after workouts and things of that nature, there are a lot of reasons to, grow in respect for a person at the gym, especially if you, again, are sharing the same hobby, you love the same things, and you respect each other's work ethic. Men usually choose their friends based on, those types of things, the camaraderie that you have and feeling like you're after the same goal. Also, just the respect of each other's might, each other's strength, each other's work ethic. Like men develop a great deal of respect for men who do what they do and do it well. And so, no, that's not a red flag for me. But I don't know where else is he, congregating. Where else is he spending a lot of time? It is a red flag if he's incapable of making friends outside of the gym. That's a red flag. But I would imagine he's not. Melanie S said you're late. No, you're right on time. Every time I do that, the camera has a red, just I caught that. Um, Again, next time I come over here, I use my HD camera. It's really shitty in my bedroom. We are in a temporary apartment because they're building our house. So I don't have my YouTube. For those of you wonder why I do car videos instead of studio videos now, because I don't have a YouTube studio. I don't have a house anymore. We sold our house, but my new bedroom doesn't have the greatest lighting at all. Really trash lighting, and so we got one, two, three lamps and overhead light on, and it's still dark in here. It's still like it's like mood lighting. No matter how many lights we turn on, it's just like mood lighting. So I'll be glad to get my house. It'll be a while though. Let me see. Goddess Yvonne too said yes, he was smooth and overconfident. Yeah, when a guy's overconfident, it's probably because he gets a lot of practice dealing with a lot of women, and so as much as women don't like nervousness and they think that it means a guy's weak or he's somehow or another less masculine, that's bullshit. Masculinity is in no way connected to a man's confidence with an individual woman that he sees value in. If I think that a woman is wonderful and I think she's worthy of my time and my presence and my effort, I might be a little bit nervous because I'm hoping she sees the same qualities in me. And that doesn't mean I'm less masculine, less of a leader, less of an alpha. If we like to use that term, I think that term is it's a lot wrong with that term, but um, no, he, a guy who's overconfident is usually just very practiced, and you don't want to be that type of practice. Somebody said, Diana Boyd said, what can you say about a guy that lies about having kids but wants to get in a relationship? Um, if a man is lying about his kids, I think that you have enough information to move on. I don't know. I've never met the type of man who I respect who lies about having his children. If I know a guy who has two or three kids and he's telling women he don't have no kids, first of all, I couldn't even utter that. It's like that was all that would almost be like when Peter denied Jesus. Like, like I don't know this man. If somebody asked me if I had kids, I'm the first thing that you learn about me if you meet me on the street. You never see me on YouTube. You never heard my voice on social media or anything like that. The first thing you learn about me is that I have kids because that's my favorite thing to talk about. My family. I'm very dedicated to fatherhood, and I'm very dedicated to the impact that I have on young men, especially young men embracing the idea of becoming fathers. So for me, fatherhood, my influence, my impact. Is the most important thing. So immediately when you get to know me, no matter who you are, you hear about my kids. Um, and so for men to with a straight face lie about having kids just so they can get some ass, I don't understand it. And I feel like that's a sign of a weak man. And usually a man who lies about having kids is going to lie about a great deal more than that. He lies about having a girlfriend when another woman is about to open her legs and he doesn't want her to shut them. He'll lie about having a girlfriend or a wife. When a man can lie about people not existing who he's supposed to love unconditionally, he's definitely going to lie when somebody says, you got a girlfriend? No, no, I ain't got no girlfriend. So that's a huge red flag. Never ever date a man who lies about having kids because he'll be lying about having you or a wife, or he's already probably married and lying about that. I've known what men to lie about having kids and having wives and then having girlfriends. They have a whole family at home and they're like, no, 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 I ain't got no kids. I don't live with nobody. And in actuality, they have all of those things. So it's always a red flag. Never date a guy again if he lies about that. um, Let me see. Is it a red flag when he says he isn't scared of losing you, saying he's just not insecure? Yeah. I feel like it sounds tough, but if a guy isn't at least making sure to express, I definitely don't prefer to lose you. I would not, hope to lose you. Um, Maybe I don't have fear, but I don't, I don't wish that. It's not what I want. If he's not making sure that you understand that you do have value to him, and that he's not indifferent to the idea of losing you, then it is a red flag. He should at least express that he's not indifferent. He should express that he cares. And if he's incapable of expressing that, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm not insecure, so I don't care," he's just giving you the whole, I can get women type of thing. And I get it, but I think that a man with emotional maturity and some spiritual maturity understands that a woman in this particular situation is going to need confirmation and validation that she's important, and he's not indifferent to losing her. He cares. He just doesn't. He wouldn't let it break him, and that can be true. I'm going to be all right regardless. I will find a way to survive. So I don't live in fear of losing, anything, but I definitely don't want it. It's definitely my worst nightmare, right? Like I can still have that and not really be living from in a place of anxiety and fear, right? You can be scared and not scared at the same time, or the thought can be scary, but you don't have to be scared, right? There's a difference in having fear and feeling fear. And so for me, if he didn't give you anything else but that, then it could be a red flag. But something tells me that you don't get to that type of conversation unless some bullshit happens. And so I don't know if the bullshit was you or the bullshit was him. And so I would imagine, just reading that comment, that other tumultuous things have happened and occurred, Kimmy Jones. And maybe you have bigger issues on your hands than him being afraid to lose you. Maybe he's not afraid, and that caused that conversation, or maybe you're afraid, or maybe you've done something. I don't know. It just feels like that conversation started from a weird place. Just reading your comment, and so maybe you have bigger issues than whether or not he's afraid to lose you. Is he respecting you? Is he treating you well? Are you respecting him? Are you treating him well? Are you trying to teach each other through punitive behaviors and punishment? Are you both trying to scare each other and cause insecurity in each other? Are you both trying to make each other jealous? Is one of you doing that? That would be my concern when I hear something like that. Um, Joshua, Khalib, Daniel, Spirit. Love and respect to all of those things. Joshua, Caleb, Daniel, Spirit. Do you recommend women to get to know multiple people at the same time? No sex involved. How do you manage to maximize your multiple interview stage? I was going to cover it up, but every time I do that, the camera does some goofy shit. Um, yes. So to answer your question, yes, I do recommend that not just women, but everybody um, to get to know multiple people non-sexually at the same time. Um, Women specifically spend way too much time once they decide they felt sparks or chemistry with a guy, only thinking of him, isolating him, exclusively thinking about dating and talking to him. And he might still be playing the field, trying to figure things out because that's what he's supposed to be doing, assessing a woman's relationship skill set. Women stop assessing skill sets and just start trying to attach themselves to a guy a lot of times when they like him. And because men don't want that level of vulnerability, they ultimately protect themselves much better than women do in these situations. So, yes, please go get to know multiple people intellectually, spiritually, energetically, conversationally at the same time. That doesn't mean you need to go have sex with people. I don't think you should be going and having sex with people. You don't need sex to get to know a person. You just need an open ear. You just need to be vigilant and observant. And so it's almost like you said, the interview stage. And you don't screw the person that interviews you at every job interview. Like that's not a portion of it. They're trying to get to know you and figure out if you're a good fit, if you have the skill set. You don't end up screwing them, or you don't do like a free day's work for them to show them, right? You don't test drive each other through job interviews, but somehow or another, that's what we determine it is necessary in dating. She said, how do you manage and maximize your multiple interview stage? Take the pressure off of yourself to feel sparks or feel chemistry. Understand that sparks and chemistry are the least significant, most minuscule, short term, temporary section of a relationship. As at one, you'll it'll just be a story you tell your grandkids. Oh, when we first started, we was inseparable. Like it sounds wonderful, but in reality, most people lose their new car smell after a few months, and then you still have to deal with the person that you attached yourself to. Hopefully, sparks or chemistry wasn't the only thing that you were, banking all your money on, because a lot of people turn out to be um, just lacking in the relationship skill sets that a person might need intrinsically. Each individual has different needs, energetically and spiritually, and behaviorally. And sometimes we spend so much time in the interview stage focusing on if somebody gives us enough chemistry or excitement or a crush when we first meet them, that we stop looking for the skill sets required to do the job of being our partners correctly. It would be like if the interviewer chose the most attractive candidate for a job instead of the most qualified, or the most skilled, or the best resume. Women do this all the time. And so definitely take sex off the table. Interview as many people as you feel comfortable interviewing. But you manage it and maximize it by just having the right mindset that you're not supposed to be head over heels for these strangers. You're just supposed to be getting more familiar and learning about their humanity and what makes them human. And if that's good enough for you, and if they have what it takes, I hope that helps. Um, let me see. Somebody said, and I know I'm going to probably be accidentally skipping people's questions, so forgive me because I'm going all the way to the bottom and I'm gonna go up a little bit. Um, Let me see. Erica Kane, I don't know why I was hidden. You must have cursed it. I don't know why I was hidden. Um, she said, I broke it off with a guy who was love bombing me instantly after we met. He feels like I should have given him more time since it was only a month. Should I? I guess it would depend very much on how he was love bombing you, what that consisted of, why you felt uneasy about it, um, and if you were, communicative at all about where your comfort level was. I think that sometimes we do cut people off when they mishandle us, not knowing who we are as humans. Everyone won't handle you the right way. Everyone won't be able to guess correctly and just do the right things without knowing or without learning about you. And so I think sometimes, you know, we put somebody into a place where they can't win with us because they're trying to discover us and we don't give them enough feedback. And then when they don't guess properly and correctly the first time, we remove them. um, and again, it's up to you. If you don't like them, you don't like them. I get it. But it would depend very much for me what kind of love bombing, what the purpose of it love bombing was, um, what the motivation. Was it inexperience? Usually, inexperienced guys do a little bit more love bombing because all they know is what they've been told and what they've seen on rom coms. And on rom coms, guys go too far. Guys are way too mushy. So there are a lot of different things that could be happening there. Love bombing can definitely be a manipulation tactic, but sometimes, and just as often, love bombing is just a guy who doesn't really know what he's doing, misrepresenting himself or just trying too hard because he cares too much. And so both of those things can be true. He could be a dirty dog. He could be a scoundrel and a user, or he could just be somebody who doesn't know any better and who's just kissing ass because he doesn't know any better. Um, so I don't know. And even so, if that means he's not alpha, then that's what's up. But um, only you know what he did to love bomb you. I don't know what type of love bombing he did, so I can't really answer that question responsibly anyway. Um, Let me see. Why do men ask if I have a boyfriend and then say why am I looking for friends? Why do men ask if I have a boyfriend, then why am I looking for friends? So it sounds like your answer to if you have a boyfriend, T-Har, is yes. If men say, do you have a boyfriend? And you tell them yes, and then they say, well, why are you looking for friends? They're wondering why you're disrespecting your boyfriend. um, because a woman who has a man shouldn't be looking for male friends. And I know that sounds sexist. I don't give a fuck. Women shouldn't be looking for male friends if they have a boyfriend, and men shouldn't be looking for female friends if they have a girlfriend. And some of y'all, I understand, think that everything is fluid and love is love, and I get it. That's what's up. But it's always going to be inappropriate for a man to be trying to get his female and femininity fixed from another woman outside of his wife or his girlfriend. And the same thing is going to be true for women getting their masculine fix and their validation from other guys. Once you have a relationship, an established relationship, you shouldn't be trying to seek out new relationships with new men or new women. And so maybe that's what guys are asking you. Why are you looking for friends if you already got a boyfriend? What isn't he giving you that you're looking for in these other men? It's not to say that a man can't have a friend as a woman, or a woman can't have friends that are men that were already in their lives, but to be out here looking for more friends while you're in a relationship is inappropriate, unless your relationship isn't here to last. Um, hmm. Somebody said, "Is it normal that someone already kisses you at the second date?" Yeah, it's normal. A lot of people kiss on the first date. It just depends. A lot of men are taught that if they don't make a move quick enough, a woman will walk away. So a lot of men have conditioned themselves to kiss on the first date, even if they're not comfortable, or kiss on the second date, even if they're not comfortable, because a lot of women require a man to make that move sooner than later. Otherwise, they'll stick them in a friend zone, which I know is nature in some way, but it's stupid as fuck. Mm. All these men do is text and won't pick up the phone. Well, Tiffany Moore, if all the men do is text and won't pick up the phone, then why are you calling them? Why are you still talking to them? Like, if a man won't pick up the phone to talk to you, if a man don't want to hear your voice or your thoughts or anything on anything, then you need to leave him alone. Like, you shouldn't even be irritated enough to put that comment unless you spent too much time trying to get a guy who doesn't talk, trying to get him to talk. There are still men out here that pick up the phone, that talk, that text. Problem is they don't fit the high value man narrative, and they don't fit. It. Look, 90% of the women are chasing 10% of the men. This is true in most cases, in 90% of the cases. As a dating coach, I'm far beyond 4,000 women, and I can tell you the majority of the women that I talk to are chasing the 10% of the men, whether or not they realize it or admit it. Very few women are just I don't know what it is, down to earth, or just calm and at peace enough that they don't need the guy who every other woman wants. They just want a good relationship and they chase good connections. Most women are looking for some kind of upgrade or some kind of status or some kind of um, just some kind of growth, instantaneous evolution from the relationship she has, and that's okay. It's nature. I'm not downing that, but because of that, women are think they're picking from the top of the pile when they're actually picking from the bottom of the heap. Most of these top 10% of guys are among the bottom 10% of character and integrity. So while women are all fighting over the top 10, 90% of the women are all fighting over the top 10% of men, they're actually fighting over the bottom 10% of integrity, character, and intent to love. So it's really funny how that works. Um, I don't know where I was going with that. So forgive me. No offense. Somebody said, me and my sister had a recent discussion about me, and we're both not married and agree that the only men we are meeting are the men who are playing games. I'd like to see your inbox. Every time I hear a woman say that, and I'm coaching her, and I start digging into her inbox chronicles. Most of the time, there are decent men in there that she's just like, I don't like him, I don't like him, I don't like him. The majority of women don't like the majority of men who approach them. They're very, very selective and very picky. They just select the wrong things. Um, and so for the most part, like I understand that would definitely be your experience, but I would almost guarantee that if you are, and I don't know how you look, but let's just say on the surface, if you're a very fair looking woman, then there are a lot of men who take other things very seriously and aren't playing games, but you probably just aren't selecting them as well, and you're leaving them on red or seen. And if you check your friend zone, there's probably a man somewhere in love with you right now that you're like, I don't know, but I don't like him. which is fine. You're not supposed to just take whoever comes up to you, whoever wants you, but you can't also then say all the men are playing games if the men who aren't playing games don't get very far with you. Um, both of those things can be true, but it's not absolute just because the ones that you want don't want you. Not that you're saying that. It's just I'm speaking to thousands of people answering in a one. Um, okay, hold on. This is a good question. Excuse me. Ugh. Brighten up, brighten up, brighten up. Got it. Okay, so somebody asked a good question. She said, Jasmine Ford said, why do men manipulate women into having sex with them when they're in a relationship and promise you won't be a side chick? She says his girlfriend is okay with it, but doesn't answer the phone. You haven't been manipulated into having sex with a man when you know he's in a relationship. You've chosen to have sex with a man who you knew was in a relationship. So we have to be very careful about the language we use because it can predispose us to believe certain things about the situation that don't allow us the space to take responsibility. If you know a man has a relationship, then you have not been manipulated into screwing him. You've chosen to screw him in hopes that he leaves his relationship for you. I think that in trying to steal another woman's man, you've gotten your due recompense. Um, First of all, he's no prize. Clearly, he's cheating on a woman. He's lying to you, or he's, manipulating you, as you say. So he's wrong on both ends. So it's not like he's some kind of prize. He's a shitbag. Clearly, at the very least, he's just a very dishonest and manipulative person. And you know this coming into it. So you haven't been manipulated. If you know that's somebody else's man, go find your own man. It's as simple as that. Um, you ask to be a side chick when you step into a relationship as a wedge to try to steal a man from a woman who you feel like doesn't deserve him, or you might be better than, or men often shit on their women and downplay their emotional bonds to them, and say disparaging things about them, which is a very weak man. The weakest man shit in the world is for a man to be talking shit about his woman to another woman. But men do this because it alleviates the guilt that a woman might feel for spending time around another woman's man, having sex with another woman's man, all of those things. But you're still choosing to do that because you know that that's another woman's man. So you've not been manipulated, Jasmine Ford. You chose that, and you have your prize. Dick is your reward. Um, Love and respect, though. No offense. Um, Alicia, she says, and thank you for the 4.99 super chat. She says, my sister was choked by her boyfriend bringing their newborn from the hospital. Should I continue to try to get her away from him or stay out of it? I mean, I suppose you could try, but people only leave when they've had enough. When they've had enough, that's the only time people leave. Um, Hell, I recently got sucked into some shit. Trying to be just to support a family member, the same thing. And people only leave when they had enough. And until she's had enough, she's going to be there. What you can do is always provide her the opportunity to receive your support. Always know you're there for her. Make sure you keep open arms when she does come out of it. Make sure she doesn't feel like she doesn't have any allies, even though she's not doing what you want her to do. But at the same time, you got to let her live her experience, and just be there to support her when she's tired of it. But in the same breath, um, you can't burden yourself uh, with trying to figure out how to convince her. If logic was the issue, someone would have convinced her by now. Being choked would have convinced her. She's not operating from a place of logic. Right? She's operating from a place of fear, from a place of anxiety, from a place of infatuation, from a place of hope, from a place of ignorance, and she has other forces governing her actions right now than logic. So there's no way you can give her an intellectual push that will cause her to move in any different direction than she's already chosen to move, unfortunately. So you know, just make sure she knows that you support her, but don't burden yourself with trying to solve this issue for her. Um, she's a mom now. She has a responsibility to her child that if her ain't shit man doesn't want to protect her child from a certain type of environment, she has to. Absolutely, he's a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. He deserves to be hanged by his nuts and beaten. But um, she, as a mother, still has an opportunity and a responsibility to make sure that her child is groomed in a safe and loving environment. And it's a failure on both of these parents to create that as an environment for their child. And it can't be your burden to bear. So yeah, tell her she's loved. Make sure she knows you support her, but you got to let her live her experience and don't be guilted by it. Somebody said when I Googled him, he had an arrest record from 10 years ago with multiple rapes. Yep. That's why I always, that's why uh, I had that sponsor that did the background checks because I've met too many women who discovered that the guy that they're on the date with has a rape or a kidnapping background, or felonious drug trafficking, that type of stuff. Um, it's just, it's a lot. This is an odd question. Somebody asked me if a man can still have sex with prostate cancer. I don't know anything about prostate cancer. Um, Sorry. That would be for the Googles. First of all, thank God I don't know anything about prostate cancer. I hope that ignorance remains. But you could Google that and find that answer in 5 minutes. One would assume yes. I think you can, uh, but I mean Google. Let me see. Somebody says, Galena says, "Do you think a woman is supposed to see a man's good qualities within the first week of meeting him?" I don't think you should believe anything you see from a person within the first week you meet them. It's nice that if it's true, if it's confirmed by consistency over time, but nothing is believable in the first week you meet a person. Even so, you're supposed to be being observant enough to observe good stuff from bad stuff, or seemingly good from bad, but don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to have made all the right choices and all the right observations within the first week. It takes time to observe a person and create an accurate judgment of who they are and what they present to you. Um, Somebody said some ass. Talk about dehumanizing women. I'm assuming someone's discouraged or irritated that I probably said a guy gets some ass. I don't know. I say that all the time. Just guys want sex. They want some ass. If the young woman doesn't like that I said some ass and she feels like I'm dehumanizing women, that makes sense. But that's not what I'm doing. So, um, hey, that was up. More power to you. Um, I'm not one who cares to convince anybody of my character or what I mean when I say things, but I'm also a grown ass man just speaking to you as a grown ass man speak. I didn't say no bitches and hoes. I just said some ass, and I understand, but I'm not here for the politically correct stuff. Um, I still say the word female, and I'm not sure why that's a problem. I'm sure that's my ignorance, but I'm gonna say some wrong shit or some shit that y'all don't like, and y'all just gonna have to deal with it. Anybody who says everything right or who appears to agree with everyone who listens to them or who makes everyone who listens to them agree is being disingenuous. Every person is going to have some flaw, some character trait that you don't like, some word, some thought, some belief. Uh, like everybody's going to have something. There's always a reason to judge a person against what you believe is right or wrong. And so I'm not here to impress everyone by being perfect. I'm here to give my perspective and try to help women find more satiating, healthy relationships so that when they come to healthy men, they don't screw them up. And when they raise daughters and sons, they don't screw them up. And when they look back on their lives, they're not regretful. I'm trying to save the experience of women here. I don't have time for PC correctness and stuff. So yes, men want some ass, and if you give them some ass and they don't deserve it, then it's as much your fault as it is a man's fault. And if that dehumanizes you, then I'm sorry. Um, at the beginning of a relationship, should you talk about love interests daily? Um, could that give a man the impression that your life is empty? Do you think that's moving too fast or too soon? Should you talk about should you talk to oh, okay. At the beginning of a relationship, should you talk to a love interest daily? Could that give a man the impression that your life is empty? It could give a man the impression that your life is empty or you're too available. I think if you're talking to somebody daily, pretty soon they know what your schedule is and why it is what it is. And so there's obviously some more info that that person would have outside of something that we would just assume in the comment section. I've talked to like when I met my wife, I talked to her the first day I talked to her. I don't think I didn't. I've talked to my wife every day since the day I met her. Since the day she called me, we've not talked. And hell, we've been together now 14 years, I think. Um, but if I like a woman, I'm very intentional about making sure that I'm the guy she's talking to, and I'm the person making leeway, and I'm the guy becoming more and more important. That's how I am. And I think that what was beautiful about when I met my wife is I didn't have to pretend to not want to talk to her. I didn't have to pretend to not miss her voice. I didn't have to pretend to not be thinking about her. I was free to actually just be just genuine about how I felt. I didn't have to play any games about not being vulnerable or trying to look more macho. Or I didn't have to do any of that. I just, I was thinking about her. I could just call her. And, obviously I'm not an overcaller. I talk to everybody once a day. But since I've met my wife, I've spoken to her every day. So I can't in good conscience tell you that you shouldn't talk to a love interest every day because hell, I didn't have shit to do either. So if I was talking to her and she was talking to me every day, yeah, she didn't have nothing to do. She had an empty life. Even if I could infer such a thing, what would that say about me? I'm on the phone with her too. I ain't got shit to do but talk to her. Or I've put all the other things that I'm supposed to be doing down to talk to her. So while it could be assumed that what idiot would assume that he's somehow another superior to her simply because she's talking to him when he's talking to her as well. Um, Hold on, I gotta make sure this down. Look like my computer might be dying. I got it plugged in. That's weird. Let me check my battery settings. Hold on. My battery is plugged in, but it's telling me that my computer battery is dying. I don't know. That's weird. Hey, so I guess I got a little bit of time left, and when my computer dies, that'll be it for this conversation. Um, so anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. Somebody said, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." I'm assuming they're referring to something going on in. Let me go all the way down to the bottom. I know I've missed a lot of questions, but it'll save the chat. So if I see any questions that I missed that are interesting, I'll make a video out of them. And for whatever reason, my computer's not charging, so I'll um I'll see to it that I go through these questions. Yeah, I think my charger's is plugged up. It's plugged up well, but somehow or another it's not working. So this is a new computer. I'm sure I can. It's still under warranty. Blah blah blah. Um, Somebody said I'm dating a man who asks hella questions. It's cute, but my girlfriend said some people use to find out things to love bomb or try to cater um to that when it might not naturally be him. What do you think? So Somebody said, I'm dating a man who asks a lot of questions. She thinks it's cute, but her girlfriend tells her it could be him trying to get information to basically set her up or love bomb her. That is possible, uh, but it's not always likely. Um, I think that if you're susceptible to someone manipulating you because uh, you move off of your emotions and you live exclusively in your fantasies of what things can be, then it's very dangerous for you to divulge too much information. But if you're one who is very tactical uh, and very meticulous about how you enter a new dating phase with a person and how you insert someone into your life, you can give them the information that they look for. And for the most part, as long as you're not susceptible to being manipulated into doing things that you would otherwise not do, you're okay. Sometimes it doesn't matter if a person wants to manipulate you. It matters that you've allowed yourself to be of use to those people. And the only thing you can control is you. You can't control everyone else, what they want, what they might scheme. People always ask me, well, what if a guy only wants to have sex with me? What if a guy wants to manipulate me? What if all he wants to do is have sex? What if? Don't give him no ass. Me dehumanizing again. Don't screw the mother. Me being mean again. Don't have sex with a man. And it doesn't matter if that's his only goal. If that's his only goal and you don't screw him, guess what? Did he make his goal? Did he get what he was looking for? Right. Eventually, when you're not usable, they go on to use someone else. Um, I don't even remember what question I was asking. Oh, so yeah, he could be looking to get information. He could be looking to love bomb. But if you are protecting yourself and operating from a place of logic and intellect as well as emotions, you should be okay. You cannot base your actions, what you offer, what you give, and who you are on the possibility of somebody trying to be a scoundrel or trying to be a user. You have to be everything you are at all times, and just be strategic about what you allow to come from those relationships or those interactions. Why would an experienced dater want to move fast? I met a guy and he told his family about me in under a week. He asked me to be his girlfriend after 2 weeks because, well, you could quite possibly be what he's been looking for. You're most likely one of the most attractive women he's dated, especially when you consider a guy who's dated a lot of women. To get that excited about a woman, something about her that must be different. I can tell you it for me, just for me, and I guess it depends on the type of family you come from. It does not matter at all that, and I only got 6%, y'all, so the computer be dying here pretty soon. It doesn't matter at all for a lot of guys that they tell their family about you. I think women get so honored by that, but just because a guy tells his family about you doesn't mean shit. It just means he mentioned you, and it could be him just bragging about having women, or it could be him genuinely saying, "Hey, I think this young woman is different than the others, and I'm really excited to know her." Um, Even so, that's no high honor. Don't take that to